Warner Brothers wants to burn the SnyderVerse down, apparently. And they've basically flat out told us that, too. Some recent examples were Walter Hamada, the DC Films president. He gave an interview with the New York Times, and somewhere there was a quote from an anonymous WB executive saying that that executive or multiple executives believe that the SnyderVerse, that the Snyder Cut is a cul-de-sac. It leads to nowhere, right? Either a quote or just like a sentence that said that, attributed to an anonymous executive. And then months later, right after the Snyder Cut debuted, Ann Sarnoff, who's even higher than Walter Hamada on the Warner Brothers career ladder, said that, the Snyder Cut, the SnyderVerse is basically done. We're going in a different direction. And there has not been any announcements, after the Snyder Cut was released and was successful about any follow-up to it. So it appears that the evidence is there. They don't want to continue it. They don't like it. And, they haven't led us astray. At least they're being honest about it. So in this video, I outlined 3 reasons why I think Warner Brothers wants to get rid of the SnyderVerse and may succeed. I don't know if the SnyderVerse will ever come back in its totality anytime soon. It might be like some 20 or 30 year kind of thing somebody does later, but whatever. In no particular order. Number 1. I don't think that there are people at Warner Brothers who agree with Zack Snyder's take on the DC characters, right? Now, they just don't like the way he's handling these characters. Like, there's disagreements, on Zack Snyder's handling of Superman, for example. I myself don't exactly 100%, I'm not 100% vibing with Zack Snyder on the way he does Superman. I respect, his take on the character, but I don't think it's the true Superman. It's things like that. There are people who think that Zack Snyder's doing all these characters wrong, right? They think he's making Wonder Woman too violent. They don't like the way he's handling the Flash. They don't like Aquaman. Aquaman was, well, I don't know. Aquaman started in the SnyderVerse, but James Wan is, of course, doing a big job in shaping Aquaman. Zack Snyder handed the baton to him, but you know what I mean. People do not think that Zack Snyder is steering DC in the right direction. And that, I think Warner Brothers thinks that too, or people at Warner Brothers. We already saw a bit of that because that's a reason why they yanked him off of Justice League in the first place, right? That's why Joss Whedon came in and was allowed to take over the movie and make it lighter and brighter because the executives didn't like, the darker or grittier SnyderVerse version of the Justice League. So I think that's a reason right there. They just, they want to do something different than what Zack wants to do with the characters. Number 2, the drama. This might be the number 1 reason, right? People, Zack Snyder and Snyder fans and Snyder's DC fans, a lot of them have taken the internet by storm, actually, to, campaign, release the Snyder Cut, release the Ayer Cut, restore the SnyderVerse. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with, tweeting, Facebooking, Instagramming, whatever, message boarding your desire for something online. But along with that has come with a lot of stuff that I think, when the executives read this, they get angrier, they get pissed off or scared, or they feel like they're being slapped in the face, Hashtag fire Walter Hamada, fire Ann Sarnoff, fire Toby Emmerich. When people like Ann Sarnoff, Walter Hamada, and Toby Emmerich see that, they're like, F these people. They're probably upset. There are some people, not all the Snyder Cut advocate, SnyderVerse fans. I want to make that clear. They're not all like this. But there are members of that group who are like, harassing people online, excoriating Jeff Johns. There was an image circulating, and I can't put it on the video because it's a pretty disturbing image, and I think YouTube would flag it, of 3 people's, of something bad happening to the heads of 3 people who are, accused of not wanting the SnyderVerse to continue. You probably know what I'm talking about. It was circulating. When these executives see things like that, they think, I don't want to have anything to do with any of these crazy people. They think, they're all like this. Even though, like I said, that's not true. Not all people are, like this, tweeting out disturbing images, illustrations of people that they that are in the way of the SnyderVerse continuing. But there is a group that are, and these executives, they don't care about making the difference, right? And along with that have been all these accusations of misconduct or abusive behavior. Ray Fisher, a big example, right? Not saying that Ray Fisher is not justified, like he doesn't have a reason to be upset because of things he or other people experienced on the Justice League set. But, you know, he hasn't just complained about it. He's also started a war with Warner Brothers Online with the intent to make specific people look bad and, you know, with the implied hope that they'll get fired. I know he's not going to say that, but he totally was trying to get some people fired and still is, right? And, you know, he's a part of that movement. And so I think Warner Brothers is like, you know, just look, if I just get rid of the SnyderVerse, you know, chuck all these fans along with it too, I will be able to just like distance myself from the drama and put it behind myself, right? And, you know, you could say that releasing the Snyder Cut on HBO Max was, I'm sure, good for the service. I'm sure it got good views and subscribers, even though the numbers are being hidden. But I wouldn't be surprised if there are executives who think, you know, maybe, you know, it cost us a bit much in other ways. What I mean by that is, you know, AT&T is the one who forced Warner Brothers to release the Snyder Cut. And, you know, AT&T was wanting to do it, I'm sure, for the reasons I said, you know, for financial gain to the streaming service, right? But, you know, they probably expected that these fans would be happy to get the Snyder Cut, right? They would say, thank you, AT&T, thank you, Warner Brothers, for giving it to us. But that hasn't happened. It's just people saying, you know, Warner Brothers is a piece of crap for not wanting to release this. And, you know, it has made, you know, these people, the Snyder fans, even angry. You know, if you don't restore the SnyderVerse and release the Ayer Cut, you know, we're going to, like, you know, fire Walter Hamada, fire Aaron Sarnoff. This is not maybe what AT&T was expecting would happen when they released the Snyder Cut. It wasn't this moment of joy and appreciation from the fans. It was just, we still hate Warner Brothers. And so I think, you know, that's a reason why they just, you know, want to put all this behind them and put it to bed and kill it. Number 3, the HamadaVerse. Walter Hamada is the current chief of DC Films. And of course, there are other executives too who are definitely taking ownership of it. Ann Sarnoff, Toby Emmerich, probably some other people. And, you know, because they are people with egos, they want to do their own thing. You know, they want to, like, put their stamp, make their legacy with these characters, right? They don't want to continue Zack Snyder's vision. He's another person. It's like, they're like, this is my stuff now. You know, Zack used to do it, used to run it. Now it's mine. And I want to have my grand vision on the screen, right? You know, Walter Hamada's like, you know, I'm going to put the Hamada spit take on these characters. And, you know, he has all these plans, which he's talked about in that New York Times article I talked about earlier in this video. So, you know, I think the HamadaVerse is a reason why they don't want the SnyderVerse to continue because, you know, Walter Hamada's like, look, I want to do my thing now and show people how fabulous my ideas are. And that's natural. Anyone would be like that. You know, they don't want to continue someone else's stuff. They want to, like, put their own creative energy into it. We have yet to see what the full HamadaVerse picture looks like exactly. We will see that, I think, once Flash comes out. And some other movies before that. James Gunn's Suicide Squad, right? Isn't that... that's like a HamadaVerse production, right? But you know what I mean. He wants to put his stamp on things, and that means that Zack Snyder's stamp has to be retired in his eyes. So there you have it. My 3 reasons why I think Warner Brothers wants to kill the SnyderVerse forever. Will they succeed in killing it, though? I think they might, actually, right? But maybe not completely. Because, after all, elements of the SnyderVerse are continuing, right? Jason Momoa's Aquaman, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, Ezra Miller's Flash. They are parts of the SnyderVerse. So is Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, right? David Ayer's Suicide Squad. She was a part of that. These are SnyderVerse characters who are going to live on in current and future DC movies. So the SnyderVerse will never completely be gone as long as characters that came from it exist, right? And maybe by some miracle, you know, if Henry Cavill ever returns as Superman, he's a SnyderVerse character, right? Creation. So, you know, the SnyderVerse is not completely dead, but I think it's dead in the sense that, you know, we're never going to see a Justice League 2 or 3 on the big screen or on streaming. Maybe we will. I mean, I'm making this video now. Tomorrow, Jason Kilar can make an announcement. Justice League 2 with Zack Snyder. I doubt it, though. Like I said earlier, I don't think the SnyderVerse is ever going to come back in its full totality, except maybe in something like a comic book continuation from Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, or maybe 20 or 30 years from now, somebody might decide to, you know, revisit that universe in some kind of special thing, you know, to have like Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa come back 30 years later. I mean, fans would be able to get a kick out of that. Something like that. But, you know, I don't think we're going to be hearing a Justice League 2 or 3 announcement anytime soon. I wouldn't hold my breath. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel because I appreciate your viewership, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.